Father in heaven, I pray that you'll minister. I pray you bring more people on, Lord. I don't know why people aren't coming, but I pray that you've worked that out. And I pray that you will minister in this class. And I ask, God, that you will bring people who need to be here. I pray that this amazing psalm that we're going to look at today, Lord, I pray that it will teach us, Lord. Pray that you will help me to be humble before you, to say only what I ought to say. And I pray that you'll help us to grow. And for the students who are watching this later, I pray that you bless them wherever they are. Keep them safe and healthy, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. All right. Well, this is telling me that my internet is slow. So if you're having problems hearing me, just raise your hand, okay? So we're going to look at, today we're looking in the Psalms at teaching Psalms. So I don't know, something I read today on the internet said that there are like 12 teaching Psalms. I don't know if that's correct or not. It seemed like it was a reliable website, but I can't be sure it was a website. So there may be 12, maybe more than that. There are a lot. So that surprises me there are only 12 out of the 150 Psalms. So what makes a teaching Psalm a teaching Psalm? Well, a teaching Psalm teaches. And it's interesting that the Psalms begin with a teaching Psalm. And it's interesting because, hello, Apostle Paul. Yeah. So the teaching Psalms, the Psalms themselves, I mean, the whole book of Psalms, all 150 of them, begins with Psalm 1. But this Psalm 1, it's not a psalm written by David. It's sort of, lots of scholars believe that the person who was the final person who put together all 150 Psalms as one book, lots of scholars believe that the person specifically chose Psalm 1 to be the first, because Psalm 1 gives us really sort of a philosophy of the Psalms, sort of not talking about praise, but talking about wisdom. And that is one thing. A teaching Psalm is very much like the Proverbs, only it's stretched out. Hello, Rubab. Glad you're here. We were getting worried about you, Rubab. We haven't seen you for a little while, so we're glad you're back. That's good. Okay. So let's go through this. Does anybody have a Bible with you? Do you have a Bible? Martina, do you have a Bible?
I have one, sir.
Okay. So what I want you to do, if you'd be so kind, this is saying my internet is unstable.
Yes, sir, we do.
Good. Okay. So Sharon, Apostle Paul and Martina, we'll have you read. So Martina, you start us off reading verses 1, 2, and 3.
Psalm 1.
Psalm 1.
Yeah, okay. मुबारक है वो आदमी जो शरीरों की सलाह पर नहीं चलता और खताकारों की राह में खड़ा नहीं होता और ठट्ठाबाजों की मजलिस में नहीं बैठता, बल्कि खुदावंद की शरीयत में उसकी खुशनुदी है और उसी की शरीयत पर दिन रात उसका ध्यान रहता है। वो उस दरख्त की मानद होगा जो पानी की नदियों के पास लगाया गया है, जो अपने वक्त पर फलता और जिसका पत्ता भी नहीं मुरझाता, सो जो कुछ वो करे बराबर होगा।
Okay, let's read the whole psalm since it's short. So the Apostle Paul, could you read for us the rest of the psalm 4, 5, and 6?
He will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water, which yields
Start.
its fruit in its...
We already read that. Read 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. The wicked are not so, but they are like chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish.
Okay, so let me just describe what chaff is. Chaff is the part of the wheat. And when you, after you've harvested the wheat and you beat the wheat, and when you beat the wheat, it separates from the outer part of it, of the seed, the little kernel, and that's really light, and the wind, and that's the wind picks that up and blows it away. So what happens is that they take the, I've seen them do this, they take the wheat, they beat it first, and then they kind of throw it up in the air, and the heavier seeds fall back down for grains, and then the outer part of it, which has been knocked off, it's blown away by the wind. So that's what chaff is. So that's in verse 4. All right, let's go back to verses 1, 2, and 3. So verse 1. So I'm curious, does anyone see a pattern in verse 1? There is one. There is a pattern. Does anyone see a pattern?
Walk, stand, and sit.
Say it again.
And then
So, walk, then stand, and then sit.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So happy is the man who does not, yeah, let's use the New American Standard there. I just like it, it's more literal. Sometimes that could be nice. Who does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, stand in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. So probably this is on purpose. All right, so, wow, look at this, we've got 7 people. No, we've got 6 people. I mean, I'm a person too, but I don't count. So 6 people, that's 6 out of 9. That's fantastic. Great. Okay, so let's do this. Tell me the progression here. What's the progression? There's something going on here. Standing, walking, standing, sitting. So tell me about it. What's the progression?
I guess,
Go ahead.
in the fellowship of sinners or wicked.
Okay, let's go back to the first line. How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked. So what is that telling me? What is he walking in?
Counsel of wicked.
Counsel. So we start by listening to the advice of people who are wicked. See that? It's not walking in the pathway of the wicked, it's in their counsel. So this is somebody who is listening to what the wicked advise. Isn't that interesting? Because that's, well, you're at university, that's what you do, is you listen to the counsel of a bunch of wicked people. No offense, but it's true. It's true, really. I mean, that's what you're all doing. And so here it says, how blessed is the man who does not walk. So what does it mean when it says walk in the counsel? What does that mean?
Take advice or be in fellowship with their thoughts, ideas.
Why does it say walk?
Because
Like
does not
follow
follow
that
their...
path.
Apostle Paul always goes first, and then Isaac can follow. Go ahead, Apostle Paul.
Does not go by their words, what they are saying, and following them, walking behind them.
Okay. Isaac?
Sir, I guess it's walk in this sentence means like following their advice, like literally doing what they are saying, advising them, like
Right.
following their ideas or thoughts.
In the Bible, the word walk has an idea of actually doing something. So walking is different from thinking. You know, you don't think about the advice of the counsel, you live in it, you walk in it. And so I like that. Follow it is good. Both of you said follow. I think that's good. So how blessed is the man who does not follow the counsel of the wicked. And let me give you an example. Say there's somebody in the church who's does all kinds of illegal things, and he cheats people, he oppresses people, but he makes lots of money. Okay, so you got somebody in the church who's a dishonest person. He's a Christian, but he's a dishonest person, makes money manufacturing alcohol and selling it to Christians. He makes money by doing things like that. And so that's how he's wealthy. And if you start listening to that person's advice, you are the first line. You're walking in the counsel, in the advice of people who are wicked. And that's the same thing with anybody, and non-Christians as well. If you're listening to the advice and counsel of people who are not godly people, that's the first. Second, stand in the path of sinners. What does that mean?
So involving in their deeds, I guess, or works, what they are doing, you are also looking at them and trying to follow.
Yeah, what's the word path usually mean?
So when they all gather up and they're doing discussions or making some evil-minded plans, so do not stand in between them, because you will also hear.
That's good. That's good. Very much, very good. Because remember, when you're standing, that's different from listening to counsel. When you're standing in the path of sinners, it means you're there with them. That's where you're getting your fellowship. And so this is taking a step beyond just listening to their counsel. Now you're actually being a part of them. And when someone says, "Oh, where's Isaac?" "Oh, he's over in the path of the wicked." He's fellowshipping with them. If you want to figure out where Isaac is, no, I'm not. I shouldn't say Isaac. Jacob. Where's Jacob? Yakub. Yakub's over with the wicked. Because where is he? Oh, I know where he is. He's always over there standing with those guys. You see that. I see it on campus. There were students, Christian students, who came freshman year, and they were coming to chapel every week, and they were coming to the chapel office, and they were all involved in stuff. And then I watched them start to have different groups of friends, people who were smoking, people who, those people who were like out on the London Bridge area and all that stuff. And you just watch Christians who sort of start floating over to where other people are. That's what it's talking about. And now people say, "Oh, well, yeah, he's a part of that group." Someone was talking about somebody I know, and he said, "Oh, yeah, he was always in the troublemakers." He was talking about a Christian. He says, "Yeah, he was always with the troublemakers." That's what you're doing. That's who your friends are. That's where you like to be. So that's the second line. Third line, sit in the seat of scoffers. A scoffer is a person who makes fun of good things. We're not making fun of bad things. We're making fun of good things. That's what a scoffer does. So a scoffer makes fun of the Bible. A scoffer makes fun of doing what's right. A scoffer makes fun of prayer. A scoffer makes fun of pastors. See what I mean? That's what a scoffer is. He's a person who makes fun, or she's a person who makes fun of people. How does that fit into this progression?
So, like when we sit in the class, if we are sitting next to a scoffer, he or she's making fun of the teacher, then somehow we get involved or we get disturbed. We cannot focus on the lecture because we're sitting close to him or near him, and he somehow distracts us also.
But this doesn't say sitting near the seat of a scoffer. What does it say?
But I guess it's like you doing that what a scoffer do. Like you are filling his seat, filling his shoes,
There you go.
and doing what it's good.
There you go. See the difference? See the difference, children? In this one, you're sitting in the seat of the scoffers. You're not sitting near them. You're with them. You're one of them. And so now, when people talk about, who is Yakub? He's that guy that's always making fun of Christians. He's the guy that's always making fun of the Bible. He's the guy that's always laughing at doing right and wrong. So he's now sitting in the seat of scoffers. He's not just listening to their counsel. He's not just standing in the pathway with them. Now he's actually sitting in their seat. and people say, oh, he's a scoffer. Does that make sense? And notice the progression. It doesn't start with sitting in the seat of scoffers. So a Christian who's like starting to stray, starting to drift, doesn't start to drift by making fun of the Bible. A Christian who starts to drift starts by listening to the advice of ungodly people and following the advice. See, that's the point. The point is not, oh, you're standing with sinners. The point is you're listening and you're following and you're taking their advice. And when you start doing that, then before too long, you start being with them and say, oh, where is he? Oh, he's over with those guys over there. And then before too long, you end up being one of them. So that's the progression. And so the psalm starts off, go ahead.
So I wanted to just add a thing like listening is very important. It is written that faith comes by listening and listening from the word of God. So if we are listening, so we'll eventually end up what we are listening to. So I guess listening have a very big impact on our lives. What are we listening to?
It really does. It really, really does. Even the movies you watch change how you think. You don't realize it, but they do. They do. And videos that you watch on YouTube, they change the way you think. You don't want them to, but they do. And then when you start following the advice, that's when you got to be careful. So the first part is saying, this is what you have to avoid. How blessed. The word blessed here, there's two words for blessed. One is barak or baruch. Barak, but not here. But that's the Hebrew for blessed. But here, it's a different word. And this word is different from barak. So barak, like, mubarako. But the idea of barak is God blesses people, always uses the word barak. When we bless God, bless the Lord, O my soul, it always uses the word barak. It never uses this word. This word is asher. And this word asher has the idea of happy or rewarded or even blessed. Yes, yes, Baruch. You have your hand raised.
Are you talking about Baruch or Barak? The same thing, I guess.
Yeah, so the name Baruch is obviously
Baruch. You're talking about that?
So this is Barak is how in the English letters for the Hebrew, Barak. But
okay.
But that's not this word. But it's the same thing. You're dealing with how do you write a different language, and so the man whose name was Baruch, who's an Old Testament character, his name is based on the name for blessing. So that's that means you're a blessing. I hope.
Thank you,
I hope. And so, do you play a guitar in a band?
Not in a band. Yes, in church band, yeah.
Church
obviously.
band.
But I'm not doing the secular musicals.
Yeah, well,
I'm more into gospel music.
You look very secular there. I don't know. I mean, you kind of look like red, like the devil there. I don't know. It's really, doesn't it look red? I mean, it's demonic. I don't know.
It's a religious concept.
Okay.
It's a religious concept.
Religion. Christian religion.
Yeah.
Okay. Just joking. It was just a joke, Mazaka. Just ignore it. So,
okay, no problem.
So this word really can actually be translated, how blessed is the man, or how much the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked can be envied. Or can be how happy the man is who doesn't walk in the counsel of the wicked. That really works with this particular word for blessed. It's a good word. Notice that the delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law meditates day and night. He will be like a tree. And notice that there's a, not exact, but it's sort of related. You've got, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, but that man's delight is in the law of the Lord. So he's listening to the counsel of the Lord. He meditates on the Lord. That's a little bit different from in the path of sinners, but he will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water. It's sort of like sitting in the seat of scoffers. But the person who's delighting in the law of the Lord is like a tree planted beside a stream of waters. It's sitting beside something that's going to give you lots of nourishment. So the person who's listening to the counsel of the wicked, who's walking in the path of sinners, who's sitting in the seat of scoffers, they don't realize it, but that person is like a tree that is not near any water. And so the more you listen to the ungodly, and the more you live with the ungodly, and the more you sit as an ungodly person, the less you are like a tree planted beside streams of water, and your leaves wither and drop, and your fruit is not born, and you really lose what you are, and you just kind of shrivel up. And that's what happens when a Christian starts listening to the counsel of the wicked, when a Christian starts standing with the sinners, and then when a Christian becomes one of those who's a scoffer, then that means he just spiritually just withers up, because he's not getting that nourishment from God's word. Because notice that's in his law he meditates day and night. He's not getting the nourishment from God's word. He's not getting the nourishment from the Holy Spirit. God is not refreshing his soul, and he becomes more and more and more withered. And the funny thing is that people, when they do that, think that they are prospering, and that believers who are faithful to God are the ones who are withered. But the reality is the opposite. The person who is walking in the counsel of the wicked, standing in the path of sinners, and sitting in the seat of scoffers is the one who's actually withering and just becoming dead inside. Any comments? Okay, and then notice the wicked are not so. They are like chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. Okay, I'm going to just go through 4, 5, and 6 real quickly. The wicked are not so, but they are like chaff which the wind drives away. The second line, they are like chaff, adds to the first line. So the first line says the wicked are not prospering. They're not like a tree planted beside streams of water. That's the point. The wicked are not so. But they are like chaff which the wind drives away. That's adding to what the first line says. And then verse 5, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. I believe that that is saying the same thing twice. Standing in the judgment and being in the assembly of the righteous, I think that's saying the same thing. If this was on a quiz, you want to choose not that it's adding to it, because I don't think it is adding to it. I think he's saying the same thing twice. But look at verse 6. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. That's saying the opposite. And so in verse 6, you've got contrast. In verse 4, you have an adding. He adds more information. In verse 5, saying the same thing, he's repeating. Verse 6, he's saying the opposite. So now you've got 3 examples of the way poetry works right there, 4, 5, and 6. Any questions about Psalm 1? As I said, according to the article...
The last 3 verses,
Yes.
that there's no triplet here, I guess. Or is it there?
Yeah, so verse 1 is a triplet. Verse 4...
Okay.
Verse 4 is a quadruplet. There you go. Verse 4 is definitely a quadruplet. He will be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yield its fruit in its season. I think I'd say that's adding to it. And its leaf does not wither, I'd say that's adding to it. And whatever he does, he prospers. I think that's adding to it. I'm not sure.
Sir, but it is adding because in every line he's saying he's prospering and he's not, getting withered away, and then he's yielding its fruits. So three different things, I guess, adding.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think it's got three related ideas, but I think they're different ideas. I think they are different ideas. Yeah. So that's a quadruplet. And you see those sometimes, not super whole lot, but you do see them. Notice verse 1 is a triplet for sure. How blessed is the man that does not walk in the counsel of the wicked. So the walking in the counsel of the wicked is the first. Stand in the path of sinners. That's new information. That's adding for sure. Sit in the seat of scoffers. That's also adding information, because we go from walking to standing to sitting. So that's definitely adding information. So there, if this psalm is on your quiz, which it will be, guaranteed, first verse is going to be a triplet which adds. I think the second one is a doublet. I don't think it adds. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. I think meditating day and night is the same thing as delighting. I don't think that's adding. So I definitely take verse 2 as not adding. Verse 3 is a quadruplet that adds. Verse 4 is a doublet, but in this one, it's adding. The first one is adding. Verse 5 is saying the same thing twice, and verse 6 is saying the opposite in the second line. We're going to do this every time. I promise you, every time we look at a psalm, I will always spend one small part of this discussion talking about doublets and triplets and stuff like that. So you'll just keep on seeing it again and again, and you'll get more and more familiar with it to prepare you for the final quiz, which is in June, around June 12th or so. Okay? I can arrange with you to do that quiz at a time that's convenient for you as far as your other courses go, because I don't want everybody to die on June 12th. So we can talk about that. Okay. By the way, today's a big day.
Sir?
Today I'm marking your midterm. Today I have I have one more highlighting to do for 475A, and then I'm on to the midterm. This is a big day. Yes, Masood.
Sir, in verse 1, he's talking about scoffers. So, is he talking about in general all the people who sometimes in general, when they get bored, they make fun and some kind of joke, and or is he talking particularly the person who is always make fun of the other people and passing the comments to others?
The fact that he says you're sitting in the seat means it's more than people just kidding around like people do. So I don't think this is about, making fun of, or, just kidding around or telling, sarcastic jokes and stuff like that. The fact you're sitting in the seat tells me we're going much deeper. And so I would say that the way this is written is on purpose. This is a person who now is like an atheist. And I know lots of people grew up in the Christian church that are like this. And they just sit around, they make fun of the Bible, they make fun of Christianity, they make fun of Christians, they make fun of obedience to God. That's just what they do. So the fact that it says seat means it's a lifestyle and not just an occasional thing. However, I would say that whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there's any excellence or anything worthy of praise, let your mind be in these things or reckon these things. And therefore, Christians really aren't supposed to be making fun of people and stuff like that. We're supposed to be doing whatever is true and honorable and right. All right, let's go to an amazing psalm, which we don't have a whole lot of time for. That's all right. We'll just start it. Psalm 73. So if you've got your Bible, turn to Psalm 73. Here you go. This is another teaching psalm. Pretty wonderful psalm. Lots to learn. See, I don't know. I'm assuming we lost Baruch and Rubab because I don't have the option of having more people, and I can't make this bigger, so I guess we lost them. God knows. Okay, who's got a Bible? Who has a Bible? Masood, do you have a Bible? Okay, Isaac has a Bible. Okay, Isaac, would you read verses 1? This says, my internet connection.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, so Isaac, you start. 1, 2, and 3. Isaac.
बेशक खुदा इज़राइल पर यानी पाक दिलों पर मेहरबान है, लेकिन मेरे पाँव तो फिसलने को थे, मेरे कदम करीबन लर्जिश खा चुके थे, क्योंकि मैं शरीरों की इकबालमंदी देखता तो मगरूरों पर हसद करता था, इसलिए कि उनकी मौत में जान तनी नहीं, बल्कि उनकी मौत बनी रहती है.
You read 1 through 4, didn't you? Did you read 4 verses? Isaac?
So, no, sir, I read 1 to 3.
Yes, yes.
No, let me read 4.
I don't want 4.
Yes, sir, I read till 4.
I thought so. Okay, my Urdu is not good, but it's that good. Okay, so first of all, this is a really wonderful psalm. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful psalm. Surely God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet came close to stumbling, my steps had almost slipped, for I was envious of the arrogant. The word arrogant is really interesting in the Hebrew. It really means foolish. And that's the only thing it means. But all the translations say arrogant, and I don't understand why, because when you actually look at the Hebrew, the word there is the word foolish. And so I guess he means foolish in the way that we just saw in Psalm 1, the people who are sitting in the seat of scoffers, I guess. So he says, I was envious. Envious, that word can be a good word. It definitely can be a good word. It can mean to be completely committed to something. And it also can mean to be jealous of something. Or it can mean to want something badly. So here he's jealous, but he's really envious, meaning that he wants their prosperity. So Asaph is bitter because he wants the prosperity of the wicked. And I think this is true of everybody, right? I mean, I think that Christians normally say, I wish I had your money because then my life would be so much easier, which is true. If you had my money, your life would be so much easier, but my life would be so much worse. So that ain't gonna happen. But here, he's envious. He wishes he had the wealth of the arrogant or the foolish. He wished he had their prosperity. So that's the way we start off. And so he talks about stumbling. And now we start in verse 4. We're going to go back to verse 4 again. And let's read verse 4. Masood, if you could read verse 4, 5, and 6.
इसलिए कि उनकी मौत में जान कनी नहीं, बल्कि उनकी कुव्वत बनी रहती है. वो और आदमियों की तरह मुसीबत में नहीं पड़ते, ना और लोगों की तरह उन पर आफत आती है. इसलिए गरूर उनके गले का हार है, गोया वो जुल्म से मुलबस है. आमीन.
Okay, so verse 4, I don't know what it says in the Urdu. This New American Standard, which is pretty close to the text, says, There are no pains in their death. In other words, when they die in luxury. They don't die out on the street. They don't die of starvation. They have the best doctors. They have a comfortable bed. And, you know, they have a fire if it's wintertime in their fireplace. Everything is just right. So when they die, it's the most comfortable death. Of course, death really isn't. That kind of takes everybody anyway. But, you know, it's not like the poor. And then the body is fat. And they're not in trouble as other men. They're not plagued like mankind. You know, they don't have to worry about when their next food comes from. They don't have to worry about how are they going to get to where they need to go. They don't have to worry about their children. They still have to worry about their children, but they don't have to worry about their children's, you know, schools and all that stuff because they have enough money. Everything's taken care of. Everything's good. So, therefore, let's read verses. I know you read 6, but let's read 6 through 9. Martina, do you have a Bible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read verses 6,
6
7,
to 9.
6, 7, 8, and 9.
ओके। इसलिए गुरूर उनके गले का हार है, गोया जुल्म में मुलब्बिस है। उनकी आंखें चर्बी से उभरी हुई हैं, उनके दिल के ख्यालात हद से बढ़ गए हैं। वो ठट्ठा मारते और शरारत से जुल्म की बातें करते हैं और बड़ा बोल बोलते हैं। उनके मुंह आसमान पर हैं और उनकी जुबानें जमीन की सैर करती हैं।
So these are mockers. These are people who are scoffers. They mock and they wickedly speak. The word mock and scoff, same exact meaning. So they mock and wickedly speak of oppression. They speak from on high. They have set their mouths against the heavens. And they'll say, you know, we can do whatever we want. God doesn't, I mean, look at us. We're stealing and we're bribing and we're cheating people and nobody stops us. God doesn't stop us. And so these people they feel as if because they have money, they can do whatever they want. And that's correct. Because they have money, they can do whatever they want. That's why greed in the New Testament, Paul says that greed is idolatry. Because the reason that people worship idols is to have the idols do what they want. The problem with God is God does what he wants. The nice thing about idols is they do what you want as long as you give them what they want. So if you sacrifice your son, then they'll give you rain for your crops. That's what an idol's all about. It gives you what you want. But money also gives you what you want. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why it's idolatry, because you want money. Why? So you don't have to ask God to give you, because God gives you what he wants. We would much rather have what we want. Okay, so that's what's going on in these verses. They're not troubled. Their pride is their necklace. Their eye bulges from fatness. They mock. They speak wickedly of oppression. They speak from on high. They've set their mouth against the heavens. Their tongue parades through the earth. They can do whatever they want. Okay, next. 10 through 14. Apostle Paul, we would love to hear from you. We're losing people one by one. I hope that's not the rapture. Apostle Paul, could you read for us 10 through 14?
Therefore, his people return to this place, and waters of abundance are drunk by them. They say, how does God know? And is there knowledge with the Most High? Behold, these are the wicked and always at ease. They have increased in wealth. Surely in vain I have kept my heart pure and washed my hands in innocence. For I have been stricken all day long and chastened every morning.
Okay, so let me explain verse 14. The word stricken there means to be hit again and again. Chastened means to be beaten. And so what he's saying is my life has been filled with pain, and every day it seems like somebody beats me down in some way because I don't have money. I've kept in vain means it was useless to keep my heart pure because I washed my hands in innocence, but my life has been miserable. So ye kya hai? Khudam ka masla kya hai? Therefore, the wicked the wicked people, they have whatever they want. And they say, how does God know? Is there any knowledge with the Most High? And so, yes, Isaac,
Sir, is this a Psalm of David?
no. This guy is Asaph. And so this guy is, if it is Asaph himself, it could be one of his sons or his descendants. Asaph was one of David's musicians. And so if it is Asaph, as opposed to it could be one of his sons or one of his grandsons or whatever that did it. But if it is Asaph, he was one of David's musicians. Very profound. Okay, now because I only have 4 minutes, let's read verses 15 through 20. And Masood, would you like to read 15 through 20, please?
अगर मैं कहता कि यूं कहूँगा तो तेरे फर्जंदों की नस्ल से बेवफाई करता। जब मैं सोचने लगा कि इसे कैसे समझूं तो ये मेरी नज़र में दुश्वार था, जब तक कि मैंने खुदा के मक़दस में जाकर उनके अंजाम को ना सोचा। यकीनन तू उनको फिसलनी जगहों में रखता है और हलाकत की तरफ धकेल देता है। वो दम भर में कैसे उजड़ गए, वो हादसों से बिल्कुल फना हो गए। जैसे आग उठने वाला हो, वैसे ही खुद जाकर उनकी सूरत को नाचीज जानेगा। आमीन।
So, in the New Testament, we have Pharisees, we have Sadducees. Pharisees, well, I'll start with the Sadducees. The Sadducees did not believe in miracles. The Sadducees did not believe in heaven and hell. The Sadducees did not believe in the Messiah or resurrection from the dead. The Sadducees believed that when you died, that was the end and there was nothing more. But that's not what the Old Testament teaches. Here, what Asaph is saying is, or Asaph is saying, is that he realized that even though the wicked die in comfort, remember he said that? He said, there are no pains in their death up here, there are no pains in their death. Even though he said that there, when he came into the sanctuary, in other words, the temple of God, he realized what's really going to happen to them is that they're going to be in slippery places and God's going to cast them down to destruction and they will be destroyed in a moment. They will be swept away by sudden terrors. The sudden terrors are not how they die. The sudden terrors are what happen after they die. We're talking about hell. So what Asaph realizes is that the people that he's been jealous of, they're not going to end up good. They're going to end up very, very bad because there is some kind of judgment at the end. And he contrasts that then with verses 21 through 24. When my heart was embittered and I was pierced within, then I was senseless and ignorant. I was like a beast before you. Nevertheless, I am continually with you. You have taken hold of my right hand, and your counsel will guide me. And afterward, receive me to glory. And that's interesting. That afterward, receive me to glory is clearly talking about after Asaph dies, what's going to happen. God's going to receive him to glory, where he's going to be with God in glory. So he looked at the wicked and he was envious of their lifestyle because it seemed like they could do whatever they wanted and they even died in peace. But then when he went into the temple of God, he saw something different. He saw what's going to happen to them. And he realized that they're going to be swept away by sudden terrors. But for him, even though his heart had been embittered, he's still with God. And God has taken hold of his right hand. And with God's counsel, God's going to guide Asaph. And afterwards, when Asaph dies, God will receive him to glory. Then he finishes up this fabulous psalm. Martina, can you read for us, please, 25 through 28?
Okay. आसमान पर तेरे सिवा मेरा कौन है और जमीन पर तेरे सिवा मैं किसी को मुश्ताक नहीं। गो मेरा जिस्म और मेरा दिल ज़ायल हो जाएंगे, तो भी खुदा हमेशा मेरे दिल की कुव्वत और मेरा बखरा है। क्योंकि देख, वो जो तुझ से दूर है फना हो जाएंगे। तूने उन सब को जिन्होंने तुझ से बेवफाई की हलाक कर दिया। लेकिन मेरे लिए यही भला है कि खुदा के नजदीकी हासिल करूं। मैंने खुदावंद खुदा को अपनी पनाहगाह बना लिया है तेरे सब काम।
Okay, we're having a little problem with
Did
the.
you say something?
Did I say something? Yeah, because I thought you had finished and I didn't realize you needed to read the last verse, so I apologize. Okay, we only have 2 minutes. No, our time is up. Okay, so, but you all came a little late, so I'll take 3 minutes. So notice what we've got here. He has nobody in heaven but God. There's lots of people on earth, but he only wants God. Verse 25. Whom have I in heaven but you? That's all I've got is you. Beside you, I desire nothing on earth. See what's happened? In the first verses, he was desiring the wealth of the wicked because the wicked didn't suffer the way he suffered. And whereas the wicked were comfortable and fat and they had everything they wanted, Asif, his life was miserable and he was constantly being beaten down. And so he wanted what the wicked had. But after seeing the end of the wicked and realizing that they're going to suffer in hell and he's going to be received to God in glory, then he says, whom have I in heaven but you? And besides you, I desire nothing on earth. I don't want anything on earth except for you. Because I realize that what the wicked have is not going to help them in the end. Because when I went into the sanctuary, I saw what their end was going to be. And then he says, it's marvelous, my flesh and my heart will fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. So, wow, you could just spend a lot of time. And then he says, for behold, those who are far from you will perish. We already saw that. Those you have destroyed all those who are unfaithful to you. We already saw that. And then this marvelous end. But as for me, the nearness of God is my good. When Asaph was looking at the wicked, when he was envious of them, he was thinking that their safety and their comfort and their wealth and their ability to do whatever they want and their lack of fear and their lack of suffering, he was looking at those things and thinking that those things were good. But now he realized that those things are not good, that they're not good at all. But having God near me, remember he said, nevertheless, I am continually with you in verse 23, you have taken hold of my right hand. So having God near me, with me, that's what's good. Not being rich, not being comfortable, not being safe, not being free from suffering, not dying in a rich bed. Those things are not the good. Having God's nearness to me, that's what's good. And so this profound psalm, I've made the Lord God my refuge that I may tell of all your works. The psalm then starts off by saying, I was envious, and ends up by saying, but I've come to realize that what's really good is God's presence and nearness in my life. So it's a teaching psalm and very, very profound teaching psalm. You all could go over the psalm again and again, and you would continually learn from it. We have -5 minutes. Does anybody have any comments? Okay, then the correct comment is go in peace. Be warm and be filled. Have a great weekend. I am marking your quizzes after lunch, and I'm looking forward to it. And by the grace of God, by 5 o'clock this afternoon, I'll have all of those marked and your grades will be up there and everybody will be happy and I'll be the most happy because that means I have one more thing to do and I'll be caught up with all of my work. It's a miracle. It's because I'm not preaching this weekend. Okay, well, God bless you all. Go in peace. Have a great week.
God bless you.
Yes.
Sir,
Thank
be
you.
Thank you,
lenient.
sir.
What?
Can you be lenient while marking the quizzes, the
I could
midterm?
be. I could be, but I'm not. I'll be fair.
We'll pray.
Yes. Pray to the righteous judge that I will be a righteous judge.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Or just pray that I'll mark them the way Jesus marked them.
Okay.
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 Goodbye.
Sir.